Hey guys, what's up? So again, it's been a hot minute since I've been able to speak to you guys. Life is just so crazy, and sorry, that is my puppy. So I just wanted to talk to you guys. I've been watching a lot of diabetic channels like Michelle Lord, Diabetic Danica, trying to get more familiar with what they do because I want to incorporate, some of that into my channel. Stop. Anyway, so one of the videos that I've been looking up was a bad diabetic day. And we all have them, like, so bad sometimes. Like recently I've been home all week, surprisingly, because my sugar has been crazy. I got some kind of virus and my body was just not happy with me. I ended up getting sick Monday with some kind of stomach bug. Tuesday, my throat got all inflamed and it hurt to swallow. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's strep throat again. I've had strep throat 3 times this year already. It's rough, and I was prepared for it. I went to the little clinic on Tuesday and they were like, it's negative for the strep test, but if your fever is still high, because my temperature usually runs at about 95, 96, something like that. That's what my normal temperature runs. And then people's like, that's weird. I'm like, yeah, I know it is. But my temperature was 100 Tuesday morning. At the clinic, they said it was 99.2, and I even had Tylenol in me. So that was still a little high. Anyways, so what was it, Wednesday? Yeah, Tuesday I was feeling pretty rough. Couldn't swallow. But they wouldn't give me an antibiotic because it was a virus, they thought, and antibiotics wouldn't help. So looking at Wednesday, I woke up, Tuesday night, about 2 o'clock. Okay, let's rewind. Anyways, can I say hi? I woke up about midnight, I want to say. I went to bed with a sugar of 190, and I was like, that's kind of high. So I went ahead and did 2 units of insulin. I usually don't do that at night just so I don't drop too low. But I went ahead and did it at 2 units at 190 or 191. So then I woke up around midnight, I want to say, and it was up to 214, and I was like, that's kind of weird because I know, stop, you want to be in the video? I was like, I know usually that's what brings it down. So 2 hours, my insulin wasn't working, and I do shots. I'm not on an insulin pump yet. We said with my insulin right now, I am so touchy. Sometimes I can go too low, sometimes I can go too high. Stop. And so we never know when we're going to put me on an insulin pump until it goes too bad. So 2 o'clock, I'm at 214. I wake up again at, I want to say it was 2:30, and because my body was feeling really weird. So I'm like, okay, I'm going low. Oh, good. I'm going low, and that's not what happened. I went to go take my sugar, and my sugar was 300. Now, I have not been at 300 since probably a year and a half ago when I was first diagnosed, probably a year ago, because it took me a while to get leveled out. So a year ago, I was at 300, 400 range, and we got me all controlled. And since then, I have never been back at 300. I've been at, I've been at 250 or something like that, but never 300 again. So I was really concerned, and my doctor has told me before, if you're doing insulin, it's not working, you need to go to the hospital, because I didn't want to go into DKA or anything like that. So I was like, okay, if it goes up to 350, I'll go to the hospital and we'll go from there. So I woke up my husband. Logan, stop. I woke up my husband at 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, I just want to let you know that my sugar is 300. And he's like, oh my gosh, stop. Sorry, he's really acting out right now. Logan. So I was like, okay, so let's go ahead and just keep an eye on it. So we did, and I didn't go back to sleep because I was like, this is ridiculous. I did 2 more units of insulin. So 4 units of insulin within a span of 3 hours or 4 hours. Because I was trying to let the Humalog insulin, that's what I'm on to bring my sugar down, to actually work. And my doctor has told me before, with Humalog, you have to give it about 3 or so hours to start working, and it should bring your numbers back lower. So I did that. You stop. I did that, and yeah, it finally started to go down around 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, what's really weird is I hadn't eaten anything since 7:30 or so that night, and it was just a half a bowl of chili, and I did 2.5 units of insulin. Like I said, it wasn't even a whole thing of chili. It was just a half a bowl, and it spiked it that high. Also, you have to remember I was sick. Whatever was happening to my body, the virus really made me sick, and it was pretty rough on my body, but God, that's over. Anyways, so my husband and I stayed awake till about 5 o'clock, and it went down to 120, which is so good. Well, I decided to stay home from work that day because as diabetics, when your sugar is like high up in the air and then drops pretty low, like 300 to 100 or 120, that's still about a 200 difference, and that was a lot on my body because it hasn't been that high in a long time. So I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna stay home today, get some rest. So at 5 o'clock, 120, I go back to sleep till about 9 o'clock. Haven't eaten since 7 o'clock that night, which was just a half a bowl of chili, and my sugar was 152 when I woke up at 9 o'clock. Don't tell me, guys. That's a bad diabetic night, a bad diabetic day. I've had a bad diabetic week. But it's okay. Like, I want you to know you're gonna have these bad days, but it doesn't affect like your diabetes for the rest of your life. Like, try not to get down about it. It sucks 100%, and it really sucks that day of. It sucked going up to 300, and I know you guys have been up probably a lot higher than that when you're sick. But I talked to my doctor yesterday, and he was like, whenever you are sick, make sure you give yourself more insulin. It sucks whenever you're trying to be like resolved and your sickness is finally out of your body, and then your sugar is like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Do I go up? Do I go down? Because you're going to drop down a lot more because you're still giving yourself that extra unit of insulin or extra half unit or whatever you have to do. So just be careful. Definitely monitor your sugar. I've been pricking my finger a lot, probably would say about 8 times a day since I've been sick. I've stopped wearing the Libre. As you can tell, I have been very sensitive to it. I've been using retinol cream to make it better. It's kind of for bug bites and itching stuff, and it smells really weird. And if you have like an animal, they like try to attack it really bad. But that's been helping my arms. So definitely when you're sick or if you're having a bad diabetic day, don't just take your sugar once, okay? Take it multiple times, because if not, like, you could go up to 300 and then drop down to 70 if you try to overcorrect it too fast. So highly recommend taking your sugar multiple times. Also, like what my doctor said, when you're sick, give yourself just a tad more insulin so you can cover from that sickness, because your body is not wanting to produce the insulin when you're sick. Okay, now it is Friday and I am doing much better. I am very weak. I am very tired. Like I said, it has been a rough week on my body, but like, even when you're getting over your sickness, diabetics take a little bit longer to recover. When I was at the little clinic Tuesday, she was like, I can give you steroids. And I was like, no, you're not giving me steroids. And she was like, oh, you're a diabetic. And I was like, yes. So I highly recommend like not ever taking steroids if you're a diabetic, because it'll shoot you very high. But yeah, I'm doing better. It has not affected my entire life this week. I will be fine. I know you guys will be fine if you're having a bad diabetic day, and it's okay. It's cool. So I hope you guys, whenever you have a diabetic day, a bad diabetic day, you take a minute and you're just like, okay, this day sucks, but we're going to get past it. We're going to move on. We're not going to let diabetes control our lives. And that's the attitude you have to have. All right, guys, if you have any questions of sickness or insulin or a lot that I've learned over this week, just let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer any of them. But if you like this type of video where I just talk to you guys and give you updates and especially talk through bad diabetic days, because we all go through them, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye, guys.